I think the biggest problem of all, Rick, is the commodification of land and housing. Until we can remove land from a market system, that's the only way that we're going to be able to maintain the cost of housing. So what do I mean by that? There are different models. There's community land trust is probably the predominant model right now. Removing it, giving a community land in perpetuity for 99 years. And on top of that, you build mutual or cooperative housing. So we've seen models work, but we don't have enough of them. And we don't have enough of them because of this belief that the market is going to solve all of our problems when we know it can't.
You know, it always blows my mind. People don't want to face the fact that if you allow a capitalist enterprise to enter and do something, what you're inviting is an enterprise that tells you, they don't hide it, we're in this business to make money. We're in this business to have a profit on our bottom line. And by bottom line, they mean that's our number one goal. Okay, that means they're not in there to provide housing for human beings as part of a community's commitment to one another. They're not there for that. They're not even claiming to be there for that. You have the people who defend them saying, well, by some magic, we're supposed to believe that if it's good for profits, well, it's good for everybody.
That's right.
But we know very well that we've had a profit-driven housing system, and yet you have to tell us what you're just now telling us. All right.
And I think the big part of that, Rick, is the narratives, the prevailing narratives that housing is the way to wealth. And so many people in society believe that. Right. So me as an African-American, knowing the history of struggle for people of color, when I go into an African-American community and say, housing no longer is the way to wealth, that's an old narrative that we have to change. People look at me and they've absorbed these narratives so deeply, you can't tell them otherwise. And I agree with you. Capitalism has told you there's no compassion in capitalism. But when I get in front of people, they ask me, why did they do this to me? Because it's all about greed. They want to satisfy their own needs. They don't care about you and I. I think a big part of this is education. I've been blessed to be surrounded by theorists, Marxist, anti-capitalist theorists that have helped shape the way I think about housing. But it is hard to get a big section of the society to think about that. I do think there's a shift. Things are changing. Things are getting better. But it is a narrative that we have to keep we have to keep pushing out and recreating new narratives, which is why I actually became an activist. I was like, okay, I'm not believing that. Right? Same thing around homelessness. I'm formerly homeless, as you read my bio to open it up, and people will give you these reasons why people are homeless. Well, none of those reasons fit me. That's the prevailing narrative, then I need to change that narrative, right? I'm different than what you're presenting, right? And I think that's a big part of this. We have to find a way to educate the masses and really get them to understand this. We need to understand that we need to change that fundamental relationship that we have with land and housing. And as a market commodity, it doesn't work for a lot of us. We need to understand that, and we need to understand the meaning of that. In a city like New York, and I see the beautiful buildings sitting behind you, air rights are for sale. And that tells you how bad commodification is. If you want to go up, $500 a square foot, you can go up as high as you want. It is really insane. And what is happening with the market will never solve our problems. It'll only dig us in deeper holes.